Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we are discussing the Bremont Supermarine S300 40mm in stainless steel. This is a British-built dive watch inspired by both the history of British watchmaking and the history of British aeronautical engineering. So at 40 in diameter, it's only 12.8 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 44.2 millimeters. If we include the end links of the bracelet, a still reasonable 47 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Throw it on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. It's a good fit. As you can see, it is low enough to fit underneath the cuffs, so no issues there. The watch wears nicely to the point that I would recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. You can see over the top, the lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist, and the down the barrel shot confirms that. The bracelet is substantial, large, thick, heavy gauge links, a conforming end link to better mate the watch visually to the case. The bracelet is entirely satin finished. It's a 3-link design with staggered alignment and staggered link size. You can see that the links themselves are fixed by screws. We also have intermediate sized links in there to help fine tune the fit, and if that doesn't meet your expectations, we have 3 pairs of divots drilled inside the clasp. You can use your strap tool to change the anchoring point of the bracelet inside of the clasp. The clasp is of thick gauge steel. You can see it's all satin finished, single swing arm, and then when it closes, it's got a twin trigger release, so you have to press them both for it to pop open. That's a nice detail because it ensures this is not going to pop open involuntarily. Taking a quick look at the case, this is so-called triptych case construction. We've got a black DLC mid case that's visually differentiated from the rest of the steel, which is actually hardened, and Bremont always likes to talk about how it hardens its steel to make it harder to scratch. That's true. It is a little bit harder on the surface. The DLC is also quite hard. The triptych case construction also involves separating the canister that holds the movement in the dial from the shape of the lugs, which actually improves ergonomics. We have a combination of satin and polish here. Bremont, of course, aeronautically inspired even on the dive watch line, so you have a little spinner on the crown, which is a screw down, but we've got a vintage look here with a no-guard profile. And then we've got a 120 click bezel. Let's feel it and hear it. It's quite positive, precise, and pronounced. You hear it, you feel it, it's satisfying. A bad dive bezel feel or sound can ruin a dive watch. This really makes the watch. We have a deep blue ceramic insert to resist all sorts of scratches and scuffs. And of course we have a luminescence. All 3 hands are lumed, so you can see if the watch is running, which is great for a dive watch. And then you can use the bezel as an impromptu 0 to 60 minute count-up timer, which I often find a lot more practical than using a chronograph. Plus you don't get the downstream service costs of a chronograph. We have a hacking or stop seconds function. And then we have a quick set mechanism for the date that allows us to rapidly set the date if the watch runs down or encounters an irregular length month. We have a combination of a broadsword and syringe profile for these hands, which are blackened for high contrast against the white dial base. And then there's a sort of Clou de Paris stamped guilloche on the center. There's a flange outboard for reading the seconds and minutes. And then you can see that we have a downwardly stepped hour track with indices and tri-Arabic numerals. If you look carefully, you can see that the indices and the numerals are actually silver bordered. Now, what else is there to say? Well, lots. Of course, Supermarine, a company best known for building the Supermarine Spitfire of World War II, was previously known for high-performance and record-setting seaplanes during the 1930s. And so that's what you see on the case back, which has a combination of media blasting and polish. Now, inside we have what's basically an ETA 2892, or its equivalent, a Sellita SW300, bidirectional automatic winding with a roughly 40 to 42-hour power reserve. Bremont claims a minimum of 38, but every version of the 92 I've seen is 42, so I suspect it's really closer to that. You've got the quick set, the stop seconds, 21 pivot joules, and you've got a 4 hertz beat rate or 8 beats per second. Now, it is chronometer certified according to Bremont, but it is not COSC chronometer certified. This watch comes with an attestation that the watch has been certified to meet the ISO 3159 standards, which are the standards that govern the COSC test. But notably, because of this watch's British provenance, it does not qualify for a COSC chronometer certification. It is not a Swiss chronometer. So ISO 3159, yes. COSC chronometer, no. And of course, it is 300 meters water resistant, and Bremont does their best to convert 300 meters to feet on the dial. Most companies would just equate that to 1,000, so I give them some credit for trying, even if they are off by a little bit. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.